Hey guys, it's Russ, and today I want to show you a sales funnel that is absolutely crushing it right now in the high ticket coaching space. So if you're a coach, consultant, expert, author, speaker, and you want more clients and you want them at higher prices, but you're struggling with this massive trust recession that we're finding ourselves in right now, pay very close attention because this funnel is earning us back about $13 for every dollar we spend on advertising. It is the most successful funnel we have ever tested, and I can't wait to share it with you now. So just in case you don't know, I'm Russ Ruffino. The purpose of this channel is I like to pull back the curtain and show you what I've learned from over $100 million in high ticket coaching sales over the years. So if you wanna learn from the best, smash that like and subscribe button. Let's go ahead and dive in. Now look, again, I'm gonna be sharing with you what is working for us and what is working now. Doesn't mean you're gonna make a dime from this information, so please don't say, Russ said I watched his video and I'm gonna make a bajillion dollars. I'm absolutely not saying that. This is what's working now. This is what's working for us. I believe you deserve this information. What you do with it is totally up to you. All right, why is this so powerful? Well, if you guys have watched any of our other videos, then you know that I believe that we are in the middle of a trust recession right now in most markets. So the more crowded your market is, the more sophisticated your market is, the less trusting people are likely to be. I think a big reason for this is because Alex Hormozi came out with that book, $100 million Offers, a few years ago. And in that book, he really broke down how to create something that is irresistible. In other words, how to pitch your stuff in a way that's going to make people want to buy it. And so the way that he says to do that is to use really, really strong promises, to couple that with really, really strong risk reversal. And that's what's going to make people want to buy. Now, this is totally not Alex's fault, but what happened was a lot of marketers grabbed that and ran with it and sat down and said, hey, let's cook up a really amazing, irresistible offer without any thought whatsoever as to whether or not they could actually deliver on it. So they were making these crazy promises with these crazy guarantees, and their programs absolutely suck. And if you bought one of those programs, I just want to let you know, I'm really sorry. Don't hate on the entire high ticket coaching space, because there are some of us out there who really know what they're doing and who do a fantastic job for our clients. But what that's done is that now so many people have gotten burned in so many niches and so many markets that the skepticism is off the charts. It's higher than it's ever been. So what we need to do if we want to market our coaching and our services effectively is we're going to have to find a way to break through this trust recession and rapidly establish trust. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because the funnel that I'm about to share with you, I think the reason that it works so well is because it just creates massive, insane, ridiculous amounts of trust, and it does it very, very profitably. All right, how do we create trust? Let's take a step back and just take a really quick look at that. So the formula for creating trust is actually pretty simple. Trust equals integrity plus authority times time. So trust equals integrity plus authority times time. All right. So first of all, integrity. You must have massive integrity. And that means that your stuff has to be good. You have to know what you're doing. If you're going to make a claim or you're going to make a promise or even going to tell people that their lives are going to get better by working with you, you better be able to deliver on that promise. So you must have integrity. And if you want to be trusted, you must be trustworthy, right? It's pretty simple. Now, the next piece is authority. Your audience not just has to believe that you're a good person, they have to believe that you also have the answer to the problem that they're struggling with. So that's that authority piece. And then the longer the amount of time that you spend with them, so over and over again, they're seeing, oh man, Russ is someone who has integrity and Russ is someone who knows what he's talking about, the more they begin to trust this person. Does that make sense? And if you think about anybody that you know in your personal life that you actually trust, right? Not a family member, not a brother or sister. I mean, somebody that you trust to get the job done. So maybe that's a handyman or, someone you rely on to fix different things, or your dentist, your doctor, somebody that you just absolutely believe in. If you think about that person, this is how that person created trust with you. They showed you that they were integrous, that they were a good person, and they showed you they could get the job done. And they showed you that over and over and over again. And the more time you spent with them, the more your trust increased. So again, the formula is trust equals integrity plus authority times time. All right. So let's talk about this funnel and why it does such an incredible job of establishing that trust. So the funnel that I'm talking about is a paid webinar funnel. Now, it's kind of weird. As I've built this company, we've always done free webinars, free VSLs. Somebody clicks an ad, they watch a video, they watch a webinar, but the whole thing was free. Now, every once in a while, I would do a paid webinar, but I would really only do it for my list. And that meant that the people that were showing up are people who had been following me for a while. They already knew me, they already liked me, they already trusted me. And so it's very different than advertising something to a cold audience that doesn't know you. So if you want to know how to grow or scale your coaching business, the most important metric is, can you spend $1 on advertising and make $5 or $8 or $10 back? If you can do that, then you have a business that you can scale. If you can't do that, then you don't. So those of you guys that are like, dependent on word of mouth or referrals, or we talk to people all the time. They're experts, they're fantastic at what they do, but they have absolutely no client attraction pipeline. So that means that you're dependent on referrals. You're dependent on word of mouth. And if you're doing a good job and you're getting referrals, great, more power to you. It means your clients are happy. But I never want you to be in a position where you're depending on someone else to give you customers. Does that make sense? I mean, if your business is dependent on word of mouth, all you can do is sit there and cross your fingers and hope that the clients and customers show up. And I never, ever want you to be in that position. That's why I call my company Clients on Demand, right? Not clients every once in a while, not clients when someone feels like sending you a referral, but clients on demand. How can you spend $1 on Facebook and make $5 or $8 or $10 back, or whatever it might be, right? That's the name of the game. If you can do that, then you've got a business you can scale. If you can't do that, then you're just sitting around wondering where your next client is going to come from. So this funnel that I'm about to share with you is the most effective way that I've seen to get new people in, to break through that trust recession, and to get them to invest with you at high ticket prices. And again, I'm not talking about people who are on your list or people who already know you or already like you or already trust you. I'm talking about people who don't know you, who are ice cold, who are coming in from that cold traffic, and who are just absolutely convinced of your authority and value and willing to invest a high ticket price. All right, so going back to what this funnel actually looks like, we're going to be sending traffic from Facebook and Instagram. That's where we did this. We drove this traffic into a sign up page for a webinar, right? So it's got the headline, it's got a place to sign up, some more information about the thing. And the price of the webinar was $27. Then we also allowed people to do a VIP upgrade, and that was also $27. And then finally, they went to the thank you page. So what was great about this is I tested this a few times, and I tested it without a massive ad spend. So what we did was I spent about $10,000 on ads, and we did about $5,000 in ticket sales from the front end and from the VIP. The take rate on the VIP was about 65%. So about 65% of the people who bought $27 ticket also turned around and bought the $27 VIP. Now, one of the reasons that paid webinars are so great is right there, you're making back a lot of your ad spend before the webinar even happens. So let's say you're doing a free webinar and you're not charging people. What that means is you got to spend like 10 grand on advertising. You get people registered for your webinar, and then you got to kind of cross your fingers and hope that they're going to show up. Now, typical show up rates for a free webinar are like 20 to 30%. So that means you spend money. Let's say you get 1,000 people registered for your webinar, and you're advertising and you're advertising and you're advertising. On the actual day of the webinar, like maybe 200-300 people out of the 1,000 you had registered show up. Now, right there, that sucks, because it means that you paid for like 80% of your leads and those people don't show up, right? That's awful. With a paid webinar, what you're going to find is that the show up rate is about 90%. So going back to our model here, we spent $10,000 in advertising. We made $5,000 of that back right away in ticket sales. So I'm only in the hole about $5,000. Now, what's great is that let's just say you spend $10,000 and you get, let's say, about 100 people registered to your webinar for that 10K. About 90% of them actually showed up. And then of the 90% who showed up, 20% of those people booked a call. So that's about 20 calls. And then we'll talk about the VIP upgrade in just a second. But then of those 20 people who booked a call, about 25% of those people enrolled. So if you think about the stats there, now you're making about 5 or 6 enrollments into your high ticket program for like a $10,000 ad spend. So let's break it down. You spend $10,000 on ads, you make $5,000 back, which means you're about $5,000 in the hole. So we're short $5,000 now that we've invested on promoting this webinar, all right? But from that $5,000, we did about $65,000 in high ticket sales from the people who booked calls from that webinar. And the webinar was absolutely amazing. So let's talk about that piece. So people are paying $27 to be there. Now what that means is that you got to offer them something that gives them way more than $27 worth of value. Does that make sense? And so the way that you think about this is you think, all right, you've got your high ticket coaching program, which is what you really want to sell them. And in that high ticket coaching program, you're solving a major problem that they have. So for some of our clients, that's you're helping someone save their marriage, right? Their marriage is on the verge of divorce. You're going to help them save it. For other clients we have, they focus on parenting. Their kids having, they're having their kids acting up, their kids out of control. They don't have a good relationship with their child. It's about fixing and healing that relationship completely, right? So we have clients in all kinds of different niches. What you want to do is think to yourself, all right, what is that big outcome that they're really paying me for in my high ticket program? And what you want to do is you want to take the tiniest, most urgent, most painful piece of that problem, and that's what you solve for them in that $27 webinar. Does that make sense? So in our case, our program is we work with coaches and experts, and we help them turn their expertise into a high ticket offer that they can sell for $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 or more. That's what we do. And then we show them how to do all the sales, all the marketing. We build the funnel. We show them how to do the ads. So we do everything that we need to do to take that high ticket offer and then sell it consistently. But the first piece of what we do is helping our clients figure out what that high ticket offer is going to be. So that was the hook for our webinar. It's I will sit with you and we will create together a high ticket offer in 2 hours using AI. That was the hook of our webinar. But let's say that you had a marriage program and your program is about helping people save their marriage. Well, you might do a $27 webinar about just how to stop the fights. Right now, they're having these awful fights with their husband, awful fights with their wife. They don't know how to fix it. Great, come to this webinar. I'm gonna show you a simple 4-step system to stop fights before they start. And when they do start, to end them within 5 minutes. And so the fight never even happens in the first place. And that's $27. Now, if you had a parenting offer, right, where the kid's melting down, maybe that's the most painful thing. Or their urgent problem that they're dealing with every day is that their kid is having meltdowns and freaking out every single day. They're having tantrums, whatever you wanna call it. And you're gonna show them your solution to interrupt that process and stop those meltdowns in their tracks. You see what I mean? So that the webinar doesn't solve their entire problem. It just solves that immediate painful piece of their problem. And then the upsell into your high ticket offer is very simple. It's like, great, we've shown you how to stop the fights with your wife, but we know there's a really long way to go before we fix all the other problems in this marriage. You still have to fix this, you still have to fix this, you still have to fix that. And if that's what you want, great, book a call and we can help you do that. And then on the call, you can enroll them into your high ticket offer. Does that make sense? So the hook of the webinar is whatever their most urgent and most painful piece of the problem is, we're going to solve that for them right there on that $27 webinar. Cool? All right. Now, what about the VIP? What are they getting for the VIP upgrade? Well, my suggestion is that right away, when they buy the ticket for the webinar, you immediately take them to another page that offers them a VIP upgrade. And what they get for the VIP upgrade is they get the replay and recording of the webinar, and they get a special bonus VIP Q&A call with you a few days later. So I like to do my webinars on Thursday evenings, and then we'll set the VIP Q&A for 2 hours the following Tuesday. So we do the webinar Thursday. People book calls on Friday. Sometimes they book calls on Saturday. They book calls for Monday. But then we also have this VIP Q&A on Tuesdays that gives us another bite at the apple with the most qualified people. So let's say you've got your VIPs on there and they haven't booked a call yet and they haven't signed up yet, but they come to that VIP Q&A. Great. That gives us just another chance to build more trust. Cool? So on the webinar itself, what are we going to do? Now, when I'm running a free webinar, I'm not a big fan of doing a lot of teaching. So people come, they sign up for a free webinar. Free webinars tend to be more about shifting their beliefs and introducing them to a new idea of what's possible and then inviting them to book a call. That's a free webinar. And on a free webinar, you can do that in the space of about 30 to 40 minutes. Going back to our formula before, where trust equals integrity plus authority over time, right? The amount of time that you need to establish your integrity and authority on a free webinar is about 30 to 40 minutes. That's it. So you can keep those short. But on a pay webinar, they're paying to be there. They're spending $27 to be with you, or another $27 if they bought the VIP. So they're paying to be there. And that means we need to deliver massive value. So the structure of the webinar itself should basically be that for the first, let's say, 1/3 of the webinar, you are shifting their beliefs and you are introducing them to new ideas about what is possible. Then for the second third of the webinar, you're going to actually deliver on that outcome. So if the outcome is helping them stop fights with their wife or whatever it is with their husband, you're going to show them here, you're going to show them how to do that. But in this section, you're going to share with them your fundamental beliefs about like what really makes a marriage work. So in my webinar, since it's all about high ticket sales, here we're talking about why high ticket. We're talking about, what works. We're talking about what doesn't work, what no work. We're talking about what doesn't work. So we're talking about all those things. And then in this part of the webinar, I'm actually delivering on the value that they came there for. Make sense? And then in the final third of the webinar, you're answering Q&A and then you're making your offer. And that offer is very simply just the chance to book a call with you. That's it. If you want my help to put these ideas into practice, great. Go to the link and book a call with us, get on my calendar, and we'll talk about it. And then you allow people to book those breakthrough calls with you, just like you would with any other book a call funnel. Make sense? Now, one little tactic that you can use is to create urgency. You can say anybody that books in the next 24 hours gets a $1,000 discount towards your high ticket offers if they decide to work with you down the road. And that just creates a little more incentive and gives those people a reason to book now. Now, guys, look, I'm just going to recap the numbers for you really quick. Into this funnel, let's say you spend 10K on advertising. You should liquidate at least half of that right away. So you're only in the hole about $5,000, right? So you're gonna make, from the $27 in VIP, you should liquidate about half your ad spend, which is amazing because now you're making back half your ad spend before the webinar even happens. On the webinar itself, you should see about a 90% show rate. And if you've got a high ticket offer, you should see 20 to 25% booking a call. Then on the VIP, you should see another 10% book, and the enrollment rates on these should be very high, to the point where if you've got $5,000 in the negative, in our case, we were $5,000 in the negative on that first webinar, we made $65,000 back in high ticket sales. So if you do the math, that is something like a 13x net ROAS, which is absolutely amazing. So this funnel is so powerful. It's amazing. That's what's working now. If you're doing free webinars, I strongly suggest that you convert those over to a paid webinar, $27 ticket, $27 VIP, offer the call just like you do now, get them on the call with you, get them enrolled in your high ticket coaching programs. And PS, that VIP Q&A a couple days later just gives you another chance to repitch what you're doing. So what's great about this is going back to this trust thing where trust is equal to integrity plus authority over time. In this funnel, you're spending a few hours with them and they get to be in your world. So when all else fails, when the marketing isn't working, when your market is skeptical, when you have all these competitors, just spend more time with your audience, establishing your authority, establishing that you're a good person, and telling them the truth. Remember, the power of your company is you telling your audience the truth. So if you want to put this funnel into practice, if you want to look at some of the other tools and tactics that we use to take our clients from zero to having massive, incredible coaching businesses that give them income and freedom and impact, then click the link in the description of this video, book a call to talk to us, and let's talk about how we can work together. I'm Russ Ruffino, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.